Welcome back, everybody. We're doing another VOD review. This time we're looking at Atlas Games PQ, and it appears that they did not stream the top 8. Not clear on why. I'm pretty sure this is top 4 based on the way the bracket looked on SWDB, or excuse me, on Melee. And you may notice here, even though I'm covering it a little bit, that's pre-Vizsla. It was on stream before. We're going to learn. We're going to learn. So we do have Vader Yellow, a deck that I am much more familiar with. Pre-Vizsla is something that either last set... Was he set 3? I think he was set 3. But regardless, one of our locals opened up a showcase. Shout out to Vaughn. And they were desperately trying to find a way to make them work. And my first thought was, well, just play Bosk. But it seems like it would just be a worse Bosk. I could be wrong. People are saying they can't see anything. Just checking chat to see what's going on, or Discord rather. So looks like pre-Vizsla is starting. Oh, there he is. All right. I don't know what to expect out of this. Like I said, he was on stream earlier. I was doing other stuff. Mostly I was playing games. I've been playing a lot of Monster Train. I've been playing a lot of Monster Train and not testing, which is not good. Spoiler alert. You can't complain about how you do if you don't play enough games. So that may come back to bite me. I do have one of 3 PQs to close out the season this coming weekend. Been on your new Switch 2 all day. I'm not really interested in the Switch 2, I'm not going to lie. I am considering a Steam Deck for the trip to Vegas. That's probably, I'm pretty close to getting it. Got a little bit more time to decide. I got 2 months to decide before I really have to get it. Have to, air quotes. Open World Mario Kart? I didn't even know that was part of the game. That sounds insane. I'm not a huge Mario Kart fan. All right, that looks like a double sleeve. Yeah, it's got to be double sleeved. I really hate double sleeving. I really hate it. It's so uncomfortable. All right, so pre-Vizsla looking like they are leading with the initiative. As I was saying earlier, I would have assumed that this would be a Bosk clone, Bosk Blue. But based on that hand and the Moisture Farmer that just came out, that is not the case. We do have a double 1-drop opener out of the Vader. This is the ideal opener that you want to see. Maybe not necessarily the 2 ideal units in this case, because Vizsla is presumably going to be able to ping the TIE Fighter. But you will be able to at least get your engine going. So we have a Starfighter. I don't love this thing. Ooh, the capture to just shut it down immediately. So that thing is, if you have initiative and it dies, you can draw 2 cards, obviously thereby enabling the pre-Vizsla hero activation. Did you pass? What? Hold on. So pre-Vizsla played the thing. Vader plays the Sanctioner Shuttle. Attacks with this? Why did Vader end up with initiative? So we play that. A pass? Oh, this is just to heal the damage. Yeah, okay. Sure. This was just so the Moisture Farmer could actually heal something off and, I guess, impact the board state to a degree, but I don't know if, do you really want to give Vader? It doesn't matter that much to have initiative, but it certainly helps. Like in this case, you get to attack with that. Even if you now remove it, it's done what it needed to that turn. So we're getting I Am Your Father. This is something that I really liked the idea of in Pre-Vizsla, and I kind of agree with this. You can just send the token in while you have initiative in order to clear that thing out. If they kill the token, then of course you could sack the Y-Wing. They didn't get card draw yet, so Pre-Vizsla doesn't do anything. I guess you could dirtle with it if you really needed to. So yeah, we're going to get the trade there, the appropriate play, get that off the board. You can always replace the token. That's a Pershing. So we will have pings live. Yeah, so we get him for 1. We're going to make a token. I have to imagine there's a clone ship coming. Looks like a waylay in hand for our Vader player. All right, token, clone ship, clone ship. Clone ship is so good. We have to see a entrenched fell, something like that, out of hand. It's right now a 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 clone ship. Bombing run main deck. There's no world in which you'd expect that. This looks like the Bothan version because we do see a hauler. That's tough, and that could spell doom for our Vader player, to be perfectly honest. You can recover from these board clears, and we're going into the Vader turn, but we don't know if you need to play around again, like entrench, because if you deploy Vader onto the hauler and then they entrench it, the game might just be over. Main deck bombing run. Brutal. I wonder if that's good into, say, Sabine because you do have access to pings. All right, so we're going to see getting him for 4. Guess we're not going to... The players seem to be playing incredibly fast. Do I have this on 2 times speed? No, they're just playing really quick. All right, so action to Pre-Vizsla. No, it's action to Vader. Okay, my mistake. Did we pass again? There might have been a pass in there. Pre-Vizsla has not deployed. That's a death mark. All right, so that's clearly going to get pinged. I think there's a barrage in our Vader player's hand as they're trying to figure out where they want to go. Intent being, of course, to snipe the Pre-Vizsla. Either attack target right now, well, all attack targets have 0 attack, including the base. I think we'll need... What is happening with this death mark? You have to take an action. You can't pass back to Pre-Vizsla. They will 100% claim. Well, maybe not 100%. Given that they're main decking bombing run, I don't think there's a risk of a takedown. All right, so the barrage now in order to wipe the ground arena. This does threaten the Pre-Vizsla, but of course they could ping, they could pass. There's a lot of things you could do. Get the ping. So that's going to give 2 cards to the Pre-Vizsla player. They're sitting at a fairly healthy life total and hand size. With only 3 resources, there isn't much to... Yeah, that'll die at end of turn. They're going to trade. I was going to say there's not much you could play to remove the Vader, but this does eliminate the Vader, at least as far as from being on the board. Oof. That's got to be game, right? You only have 13 damage on base and literally 0 board. Might need how did Pre-Vizsla play I'm Your Father and Pershing in the same round? I didn't... What resource turn was that on? I'm pretty sure this game is over, so we're going to skip back a little bit. Where did Pershing show up? Here's Pershing. Okay, resource 4. So there's the I Am Your Father. They're playing very quickly and doing a lot of... I don't want to say shortcuts, but like kind of feels like shortcuts. Wait, wasn't this the weird pass 80 times? No, that was the earlier turn. I was going to say the weird, like, pass back and forth 80 times turn. Yikes. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. I don't understand how that Pershing came down. Now, I think the Pershing drew... I guess it would have drawn 2 cards, right? Mistakes may have been made. I could be wrong. I don't see anything that stands out to me as to how they suddenly got another resource back. Last I checked, I Am Your Father, Moisture Farmer, and Pre-Vizsla do not give you resources back. Yikes. I could definitely see, hey, we're in the top 4. This tournament's been going on all day. Like, people make mistakes all the time. And I've talked about this before. Like, people don't understand or don't appreciate, I guess. They probably understand. They don't appreciate how many mistakes happen over the course of a day. Like, not, oh, I made a play error. Like, this was the incorrect play. I should have done this other thing and then I would have won the game. Like, how many people just straight up screw things up? Like, here, you kind of can see their resources. Like, if we watch this back... Whoop, I skipped too far. Trying to do this on a VOD that's like this many hours is insane. Watch what they do with their resources. So the resources, A, not completely exhausted, which is not the end of the world. That doesn't bother me personally, but it is a clarity thing. So watch here. Yeah. I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt and say that was not intentional, but it's not a good look. I'm going to say it's not intentional, but it's not a great look. So we'll skip back ahead and see if Vader can dig out of this. I am going to venture a guess no. What was interesting is that the pre-Vizsla player chose not to reanimate the hauler. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but the only thing you can do from an empty board state to interact with that hauler is Geonosis or Waylay. And like, if I'm doing that, you're kind of okay with it as the other player, aren't you? All right, that was a P38, I think. This definitely looks like the Bothan list. That's an entrenched. On top 4, did a judge not call that? So there's obviously at least one other match going on. Odds are there's probably only 2 judges there total. I take that back. There's probably 3, but one of them and I don't know the store. I don't know where it is physically either. I'm sure it's listed somewhere. But like, in my experience, there's usually like 3 judges, one of which is basically like, I know how to play the game, but I'm a store employee and I'm not watching. Like, there's almost no point in that person judging because they're not going to pay attention. Like, they're there just to have another body. The other 2 are like, there'll be a quote unquote real judge. I'm a real boy. And then your head judge. And those 2 would probably catch it, but is one taking a leak right now? I mean, we've seen tons of stuff like this happen before. It happens all the time. That doesn't excuse it. Don't get me wrong, but I understand what the problems are. And a lot of judges I've noticed right now, and this is obviously not universal, not intended to be like, oh, every judge is like this or anything like that, but a lot of judges get caught up in watching the game as a spectator. I did on this. I missed that when the Pershing came down because I'm watching this as a spectator. Now, obviously spectators, you caught it, chat caught it, but it is very easy when you're observing a game and not like, you're not in the mindset of, are they allowed to do that every time they do something? Which is what a judge is supposed to be doing, but that is a lot of mental effort and you have to consciously be doing that, which for somebody out there in the YouTube comments is probably gonna be like, well, that's easy, just do it. And it's like, that's not how that works. There's a reason why these mistakes keep happening. And it's not just because every judge is bad. It's because it's easier said than done. So since this is game 1, we're not going to see presumably see confiscates out of the Vader player, which means that Entrenched is going to stick. Which maybe was the correct play to not put the Vader in the hauler earlier. I have no idea what ship that is. It's a yellow one. It looks like it has a when played effect. What did we just do? Vigilance? What are we killing? I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, you didn't kill something. They must have just healed and milled? Oh, it's a mining guild tie. And a sanctioner shuttle. Only 9 damage on base. Oh, super laser blast. Yikes. All right. The rule of thumb for this deck is you can survive a single board clear. Like the bombing run, clearly we built back up a force. The second board clear effectively ends the game. I will also add that when the Pre-Vizsla deck was on stream earlier, it went to resource 17. And I'm not arbitrarily, I exaggerate a lot of hyperbole. Now, I didn't count it. I'm basing it off of somebody else's comment who did allegedly count it. It looked like 17 resources were in play. Why they chose to resource to 17 instead of keeping cards in hand, because it was obviously a control mirror, I have no idea. But that decision was made. It's entirely possible. And again, I didn't see the pre-Vizsla games, or I wasn't watching them that much. It is entirely possible that there are no kill conditions in this deck outside of Vigilance. Think if you cut Snoke, Avenger, Palpatine, trying to think what were the other boss top end stuff. Like if you cut a bunch of that stuff, that's a number of slots opened up that just can be weird removal like bombing run. You know, it's like is this great? No. But it's more removal. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I was thinking it was like 8 cards, maybe 9. I thought there might have been one other big fatty, but I don't remember. I guess technically somebody could run Annihilator now, but I was thinking more like set 3 stuff. Like set 3 meta. The point is that having those big threats, if you cut them, and I'm not saying that the Pre-Vizsla player did, but that's 8 more removal cards. And if you're just saying, yeah, I'm all in on the Vigilance plan, put 2 restocks main, maybe a Bounty Hunter crew, and then you have, 5 or 6 other removal slots, which maybe are only bombing runs and 2 more things, but this is hilarious. Literally at 2 damage. And you know there's another Super Laser Blast lurking. Is Pre-Vizsla what we've all been sleeping on Pre-Vizsla? Crate? Yeah, I forgot about Crate. Crate is a thing, but we're looking at a mitt full of removal up there, it looks like. Or at least a bunch of events. Wait, hold on. What just happened? Oh, we bounce the Lurking Tie to replay it. Bounce the Lurking Tie. I was looking at it like, wait, the shuttle can't move the thing. I was trying to figure out what happened. Then I saw the Geonosis. So the Lurking Tie is freed. Decklist should be on Melee. It may not be up there now. And they had to act. You have to manually, as the tournament organizer, set it to accept digital decklists. It's entirely possible they accepted paper. I mean, SWU Competitive Hub will have the link. So we can definitely check it. So this game's somehow still going on despite the cheaty face Pershing. For you Magic players out there, remember Unglued. Okay, I was joking about this earlier. The other video was going up when I was watching other games. And there were some interesting, we'll say, behaviors, like how people manage their cards. I feel like the way that these players are putting cards out feels strange. Like, almost like the table's too wide. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I may play this in red caps for shits and giggles because I hate this set. I mean, right now it looks like it's still getting cooked by Vader. We'll see. If we get a Super Laser Blast is not good enough right now, so we got to see if there's a Snoke. That's the third death mark, I think. Third death mark? Really? You've drawn enough cards. You're at 9 resources? In all seriousness, we've seen so much removal, but we have not seen a single way to kill your opponent outside of Vigilance. Because it was Pershing and Moisture Farmer. I guess, okay, you could beat somebody down with the 4-1, whatever the red thing is called. Hypothetically, you can beat them to death with that. And Previsla. So we found 2 kill conditions that are not mill-related, technically. But as of right now, okay, there's a Bounty Hunter's crew. I think I saw a yellow card. Open fire. We're drawing more cards. Getting in with the tie. Putting you north of 20? North of 20? Looks like 19. Right? 6, 6, 4, 3? I can't tell with those dice. But I think it's 19. I kind of lost track given all the nonsense. All right, so we get the ping thanks to the draw. Yep. No glory. That is an answer to Lurking Tie. Does our Vader player find other Lurking Ties? This is a variation from the Bothan list because well, it might be the older Bothan list. The more recent one from Lego Pizza, Ian, shout out to Ian, move the Lurking Ties to the board. So this game would have absolutely been over a long time ago if that was the case. So I imagine we're going to see an initial swing with the clone ship just to make sure we get some value out of it because it's entirely likely that it's going to die. Vader player has resource to 7. Surprise strike hits for 7 also. 22, 23, 24, I believe. I can't tell if this die is a 4. I think it's a 4. It's just a combination of glare and... What's the time on this game? 55 minutes. I have no idea. I have not been tracking. We got a waylay. Bombing run clears the board once again. If I'm our Vader player, I'm super tilted right now. I'm super tilted. That's a top target. Yikes. Got another tie. Vader still has cards in hand. Open fire. Awkward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1. Droid Starfighter. Sure. Literally, okay, the Vader. I think this is a mill deck. There are no kill conditions in this deck. How does this ever beat Data Vault? Like, can you actually mill out a Data Vault deck? I mean, you can. Yes, I understand it's possible. And I guess Bounty Hunter's crew, there have to be restocks in here. So I think it probably is like 2 restocks and a Bounty Hunter's crew or something like that. And then 5 other removal cards. Oof. That's a tough choice there. Multiple restocks. Yeah, but remember, let's say you cut the 8 late game cards. Assuming you were going with like 8 or 9. So Snoke, Avenger, Palpatine, maybe Crate. Could be 11 cards, let's say. Anywhere between like 8 and 12 cards. You could run a lot of that stuff. Is this better than Bosk? Is this actually better than Bosk? Couldn't you just do the same thing in Bosk? What is happening right now? Oh, we were just checking to see how many surprise strikes were left. Tap 1,000,000 resources. Okay, legitimately, I can't tell. We played Power of the Dark Side. I guess this is a smuggled Bazine? Why are there so many reasons? Like, I'm confused. So we have a capture ship and a mining guild tie, taking the Eager Escort. I don't think... Is Bazine a may? Or is Bazine a must? No, it's a must. So you have to take this damage right now. Honest to God, I don't know what you're checking for there. Like, you have two cards in hand. Either they have the removal to deal with what you have, or they don't. I guess there's a claim question of, like, do I give them initiative? He's probably asking, do you have units? Well, yes, our pre-visible player clearly has units. That much is evident. Undeniable, even. Okay, that's going to be the ball game. If there's a kill spell on that Victor Leader, that is the game. There's just no way. We're at 18, 20. We're still at 24, thanks to the restore from the Moisture Farmer. What is happening right now? There's an Entrenched in hand. Luffy with the gift sub. Shout out to Luffy. Much appreciated. Luffy always gifting them subs. Santa Claus Luffy. It's Christmas in June. I think you have to give them the cards here. Like, what else are you going to do? You can't give them the heal. That sounds dangerous, Luffy. That sounds dangerous. Like, you don't want to give them the cards for obvious reasons. But at this point, you just have to hope they brick, right? Everything looked so static for a second. I thought we lost connection or something. Yep, you give them the cards. Make a tie. I mean, they're going to draw removal. Yikes. Heal 6. Scoop them up. They were at 22. Honestly, they must have milled the other LTPs. I didn't see them when they were getting milled. If you saw the other LTPs earlier, or I think you have to sequence your turn operating under the assumption that Pre-Vizsla is trying to snipe your leader. I don't know if there was an alternative there, but like if you had a 1-cost ship, just durdle long enough that you can barrage the Pre-Vizsla or punch it, something. Like, it has to die. You can't let it kill your dude. But they probably had enough cards in hand that it didn't matter. All right, we're going to skip ahead. Obviously, Vader has initiative. Oh, this might be a Bothan person. They have the Bothan initiative token there. Hand marker, whatever. Pershing, leading off. So, I guess the question for game 1 is, did the Pershing I Am Your Father play matter? It might have. Pershing drew probably at least 2 cards. Because it was played on turn 3. Would have drawn a card on turn 4. And I think it drew a card on turn 5 when Vader deployed. Because it was exhausted, so... 2 cards our Pre-Vizsla player probably shouldn't have seen. But we get the first removal card. Eliminating our tie. We do have an early LTP. Normally, in a lot of these matchups, you do want to wait. You'd rather play it on Resource 5 or even Resource 6 so that way you can immediately plop Vader into it. However, in this particular scenario, I think you got to pressure them. I think our Vader player might be a little tilted here too. And hopefully you board it in confiscates so that you can snipe the entrenched, because otherwise that's going to be a problem. Swoop down to kill the Pershing. I don't hate this. It does deactivate, well, sort of deactivates the Previsla play. Whoa, that is super obnoxious. That's the bounty ship. So when it's exhausted, I think it has the bounty, or the bounty is while it's exhausted, you can heal the base. But we're going to get the patrol fighter to bounce it. That preserves the LTP for now. You're going to have to run the patrol ship into it unless you draw a capture ship or something else to keep the chain going. You can't allow that to connect with the LTP. I do like that card as a sideboard tech. Maybe its main deck is effectively a removal. It's another Kylo's ship because clearly this deck doesn't care about that. Shoot down to snipe the GPF. Unfortunately, that means the Headhunter thing can come back down. What is happening right now? That was a shoot. I don't know what the clarification there was. Like, all right, there's the Headhunter. Obviously, make a token. Do you have a capture ship or another Geonosis? If you don't, looks like another GPF. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was 5 resource turn. I was like, why didn't you have to exploit there? But didn't need to. 1 turn away from getting Vader in the LTP. Do you do it? Or rather, now you can do it, not 1 turn away. If you don't have the confiscate, it's a big risk. If you do have the confiscate, your opponent has demonstrated nothing in game number 1 that can eliminate the Vader other than entrenched. Unfortunate. So no Vader in tie. You can sling the Vader in the token, though. Victor Leader? You really want it in the tie because now Vader is vulnerable to a super laser blast or something like that. We're making ties. I do like this tie art. Wherever this is from, this look great. Put in Previsla, it's at, I was going to say 6, but it's 11. 2 turns away from a super laser blast. We don't, like, there's a reality where a Snoke comes down and really ruins your day. Probably in a better position this game of Pershing on turn 1. Who is? I mean, the obvious, yep, there's the entrenched. So it would have happened anyway. The question is, do we have a confiscate in hand? You do all your other stuff first. That's a grenade strike. Yikes. Yeah, that doesn't die because it's buffed. Yeah, 1 will die. Or we're taking back the grenade strike. Honestly, like, early Pershings aren't terrible as Vader because you have so many ways to interact with it. You could bounce it. You could, because, like, you want to trade in your tokens for a 3/2, right? Like, you'd love to upgrade it, evolve it, if you will. And Pershing gives you a target, so it's like, okay, I blanked your turn and got a better guy. Capture Ship does the same thing. Of course, Swoop Down eliminates it. So I guess we took back the grenade strike, and now our Previsla player is questioning many life decisions, it would appear. We're representing 2 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 damage on board with, it looks like 17 on base. The thing is that a super laser blast is real bad for obvious reasons. All right, I guess we claimed. What happened here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 25? Maybe I miscounted. But like they didn't exhaust these 2 tokens. So I don't know what's going on with the damage there. Did I miscount? I don't feel like rolling it back. This is like, I don't, we'll see. I plan on being at locals on Monday, barring something happening. I'll probably be playing Boba Data Vault, even though I should be testing more Vader. I just want to play Boba, even though I think the deck is kind of bad. All right, so Super Laser Blast does in fact clear the board. I guess we're being more clear about resource exhaustion at this point in time. I'm not sure what happened there. So I guess we accidentally revealed that there's a second Super Laser Blast in hand? Because there's one in the discard. Our pre-visible player is a little messy in this, so I'm a little confused. Look like a judge clarification. It might be, but if the judge is asking for clarification, like what happened, why would you not show the Super Laser Blast that's in the discard pile? I understand making them exhaust the resources, but it looked like there was a second one in hand, which presumably gets played right now. But yes, I agree about the judge clarification, because there was another hand that showed up here, which I presume was the judge. Victor Leader. Are we going to reanimate? We are not reanimating. Either Previsla isn't aware, or they don't want to. So Vigilance can still eliminate the P-38, which would be obnoxious. Kind of need Surprise Strikes here. Like, a Surprise Strike immediately ends it, but no longer. Heal and kill. No Surprise Strike. Going to 22. Can we get the last 8 as Vader? All right, there's the Star Wing. TIE Fighter. Make a token and pass. All right, so the Starfighter means that they're going to draw cards and get to eliminate the Victor Leader. Yeah, that one makes sense. Get him for 2. So go to 24, I think. At this point, you just, as Vader, you're just crossing your fingers and hoping that they make a mistake, or, you know, they don't have the removal that lines up with whatever you're going to play. There's a couple cards left in hand. Yep, there's the ping to remove the token. Put it right back. Death Mark. You don't love to see that. Okay, Victor Leader, how does that change things here? I think any of the removal that would have killed it would have gotten it anyway. So Grenade Strike is a little weird because the damage was indicated to go on there. So I guess there's probably a second Grenade Strike. Second Grenade Strike kills the Victor Leader and then puts the damage onto the other tie, and then everything implodes. I don't know how this works. Let's say I have Victor Leader out like this, and I play a second one, and I choose to defeat the first. I guess there's no point in... Oh, Bombing Run, that'll also do it. I guess there's no point at which there isn't a Victor Leader in play to continue buffing them. Confiscate would have been ace earlier if it could have popped that entrenched. Like, another 6 damage might have been lethal. Like, if we had done it back around the deploy turn, this many turns later, it might have been lethal because the math changes a lot. At this stage, I think Vader's kind of locked out. Like, that's just too much removal. Bazine. Starwing? I don't know. I don't even know what you take here. I mean, I think they're looking at taking the Bounty Hunter crew just to prevent a recursion into something, but I guess that kind of makes sense depending on what... If you have the LTP, maybe you take... Well, it doesn't matter. I was going to say you take the No Glory, but they could just get it back right now if they wanted to. This does not look like a good matchup. Admittedly, some level of confusion as to, like, okay, they're playing pre-Vizsla. What the hell are they doing? Oops, all removal is definitely a thing you can do. How does pre-Vizsla ever beat, like, Quinlan? I don't even know if you could beat Sabine. You do have all this removal, but, like, can't they just pulverize you? I don't know. And like I said, Data Vault. This might be one. I don't know. And I don't want to say, like, oh, well, this deck got lucky or this player got lucky or something like that. It's more like I'm trying to understand, where is this good outside of you did catch people surprised? Because it does feel like you should get cooked by a lot of stuff. And maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not true. I will say the other top 4 game is definitely getting a lot of time to relax. I'm not sure what the hell is happening right now. Why did that just happen? Oh, we got an LTP in hand. The question is, do we remove the Starwing? And I think the answer is probably yes. No, we're going face. So that's 27? Power of the Dark Side is less than desirable. What are we doing right now? Oh, you can't play Power of the Dark Side, can you? Don't have the resources. Vader token? Did pre-Vizsla pass? Vader token does provide protection against the power. Swoop down and droid starfighter. All right, so we're just dumping hand. You cannot super laser blast this because you die to the lurking tie. Surprise strike also is lethal. Like, you have to, I think you have to vigilance here. Assuming that I'm understanding the life total properly. Because, like, any single target removal, you're dead. It has to be vigilance, and it is vigilance. I mean, you've seen enough cards that that doesn't seem unreasonable. So we killed the droid. That means lurking tie is clear, free and clear. We're at 26. So the shuttle alone is not lethal. You have to have Surprise Strike. We can't see the hand. Like, to get it in one action, I mean. All right, looks like Pre-Vizsla must have scooped it up, I'm guessing. Main bombing run deals with a lot of small bodies. The ping is good. Control Dirtle. Quinlan would shoot his deck's hand up, but I imagine the hard removal and power and open fire makes up for a lot of that hand loss. I don't know if it does, because neither of those, like, power matters, yes. But, like, Quinlan had a favorable matchup into Bosk, and I feel like that had a way more set of consistent pings and could recover from hand destruction more readily. Also, open fire lines up kind of awkwardly into a lot of Quinlan stuff. Like, there's a ton of X5s. Meaning that, like, yes, you can open fire Pre-Vizsla if you have a Pershing. I don't like bombing run against anything but Vader, personally. I think bombing run is like, is it bad? I don't know if I'd say it's bad into, like, Sabine, but I think it's subpar is the problem. Yeah, I have a feeling it's like I'm playing Pre-Vizsla because I want to play Pre-Vizsla instead of playing Bosk is the justification, which is completely reasonable. I personally like Pre-Vizsla as, like, the ability, maybe to remove the restriction on the ping. I don't know how much it matters, and I feel like the resource is more of a problem, to be honest. Like, having to burn the resource and making your turns, it effectively is if you don't have Pershing, I think the ping is always more expensive than Bosk's. Because at most, Bosk's cost 2. And there are times where it only costs 1. In this case, if you play, say, I Am Your Father, it's no longer a ping, but it also costs 4. So it's a 4-cost open fire that also draws you 3 cards. It does present I think that interaction is one of the better ones for the deck for obvious reasons, but to reiterate it, to emphasize it, is that it puts your opponent in that dilemma situation. They have no good choice. My guy dies or my guy dies, and you get 3 cards. So, like, that's the old Vader plan way back when. Although it's a little different, obviously. We saw Death Marks, we saw Pershing, we saw the Star thing, which I don't know how consistently that's going to draw you cards. The Pre-Vizsla player obviously passed a lot. It looks like we have double 1-drop, but they are 1 health. Like, I don't know if the restriction is more or less restrictive than Bosk, truthfully. Because, like, you pick up the Starfighters, you pick up Pershing, but you lose top targets as a potential ping. I wonder if the Star account is there to just bait the early trade. I mean, yeah, it's great into this. Star Scout, yeah. I figured that's what you meant. This guy is super problematic for Vader. Because it's just like, I'll eat anything. Well, any turn 1 play, I guess. Thankfully for the Vader player, they have a bunch of 2/1s, but we're probably going to get removal, and then you have to kill it. I do like, if you're running Pre-Vizsla, you're going to run that 4/1 thing. You have to, right? It's one of there just aren't, which that's actually something I didn't check for set 5. I always, when the new sets come out, I always check for, like, oh, does my pet card get more support? Does this tribal deck get more support? I don't know. I'm literally looking it up right now, but I don't know how many cards say draw on them in set 5. Checking Sweetie B. Oh, there's a lot of cards. Oh, is it Pre-Vizsla's time? And a bunch of them are blue and red. Is it Pre-Vizsla's? I mean, some of them, like Deathfield, require having a force unit, which may not be a thing. And then some of them are hero, like Kiadi Mundi. Ray doesn't actually draw you cards. It just has a draw trigger. You have to attack here. Yeah, you have to clear that thing. There's a bunch of cards that say draw, but like not many of them are relevant. I think that's not a Sanctioner shuttle. What's the card? I always keep calling the stolen AT Hauler Sanctioner shuttle. I got blown out by a pretty cool Thrawn 4 yellow because of that ship. It was a which ship? Because Thrawn, that's blue yellow. Which ship are you talking about? Luke 4 got some great tools. I haven't looked that far. Like, I'm still combing through it. The 3/3 that does 6 damage on defeat. Oh, you're talking about a totally different ship. Okay, yes. This is actually a cute play, pointing this out. The shuttle comes in. You can stack the when played triggers so that you can move the shield to something. So putting the shield onto the TIE fighter, so now it's going to require additional effort to remove it. Additional effort could be as simple as like playing a just kill a guy card as opposed to damage, but it does turn, like you can't just ping it with Pre-Vizsla for freezies. I'm not going to lie, I'd like to play Thrawn, new Thrawn. That's a takedown, I believe. So how are we responding here? What are you playing for one? A body? We're dirtling bodies. That's interesting. No draw was done this turn. The reason we're dirtling here is because the Vader player is trying to get Pre-Vizsla to play the shuttle. Capture ship? Dude, a capture ship here would actually be sick. That is a Victor leader. Okay. So we're going to run things in, maybe? Like, we could send the Krennic ship and the token in. That'll get the shuttle back onto our side, Vader's side. I was thinking a capture ship, because if you capture your own guy, then they super laser blast, you get the shuttle back. Make a Vader token. All right, so the Armada continues. We're going into Resource 6. This is the big explosive turn. Only 7 damage on base. But we're representing, let's see, that's 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I don't remember what that other thing is, but presumably it's another, so 19. Oh, no, that's the Victor leader, so 19, 24. It's technically lethal, but that ain't going to happen. Open fire eliminates the Victor leader, thereby claiming the Krennic ship too. We're going to confiscate to get rid of the death mark. I don't know that I love that. So the Krennic ship died, which moved the shield. I don't know if I love doing the confiscate. Like, maybe just don't move the shield, because unless you have a second confiscate, I think you want to be in space so that you can avoid the Pre-Vizsla on ground, which means if you get entrenched, you're going to get blown out. So now there's an entrenched on the shuttle. Second Victor leader. So 4 to base. Put you at 15. I think we're explaining the raid and the Victor leader buff. It does get confusing sometimes with all the different static buffs. If only we had a digital version that just did all this for you. All right, Vader's going to go ground. Did Pre-Vizsla scoop? I think Vizsla scoop, because you're at 19, and you're not on a super laser blast turn. That didn't even require lurking ties. It was just, we got there. Pretty impressive from Pre-Vizsla, I'm not going to lie. It looked really bad in game 1. It looked really bad for Vader in game 1, but managed to get there. GG. Yep. All right, so I believe this is the finals. We're going to see Vader versus Anakin Colossus. If I'm Vader, I want to see this all day. All day, every day. You typically, your mulligan condition is just, do you have 2 guys to play on turn 1? If yes, keep the hand. If no, mulligan. However, this is a matchup where there's a debate where I almost would want a hard mulligan for No Good to Be Dead. Does not look like our Vader player was interested in doing that, or at least we know they kept a 2/1 drop opener. The annoying thing is this stupid restored arc. We are going to trade. This is the correct play. Get that out of there. That looks like red 5. Super obnoxious. Because now, we get the Geonosis to bounce it. Yeah, you kind of have to. Player's shortcutting a bunch of things. It's fine. I'm 100% going to put Pre-Vizsla on the thumbnail for this. Hashtag just saying. That, I guess, an open fire. All are coming out. Stemming the tide a little bit. You need to get to the Anakin deploy turns because he's how you win this. There aren't enough ships typically in any version of Anakin to really meaningfully interact in space. Yeah, you have Restored Arc. You might have Concord Dawn. You could possibly have Redemption. But for the most part, there's just not enough ships usually. The early Poe is not something you want to see. If Waylay? Got the Waylay? Because that would be huge here. No, it's a Victor leader. Anakin was ready to pick it up. He's like, it's coming. But in fact, it was not. Now, this is going to get interesting. Deploy turn, it is possible to just knock Vader off. It's also possible to just eat Vader if it deploys ground. So you need to... You kind of need a barrage. Like a barrage would be good, but then you don't have something to remove Anakin. Did we pass? Or did you just have initiative? No Good to Be Dead. So no barrage this turn. Where are we hitting, though? Because Anakin's only 5 attack. It's possible that there are main deck... yeah, I think Poe is the correct choice. It's possible there are main deck disabling Fang Fighters, but I think you end up maybe going ground here. Possibly even punching Anakin / trying to deploy and then claim so that Anakin, you can barrage it right away, but that won't happen because Anakin will be able to eat you, so that won't work. Because what the ideal scenario is you deploy, you can then barrage one of them, run over the other, and then you clear it out. But Red 5 and Restored Arc are now building the Air Force for Anakin. That's a open fire, I guess. No, Daring Raid. Vader's going to go onto the hauler. This makes sense. I don't know what else you could do from that scenario. You don't want to go ground because Anakin's just going to hit you too hard. And we're off to the races. I know our Vader player's not updating the base, but they're clearly keeping track on paper. So we're at 17. Ooh, clone ship. That's actually really big because if you didn't have the clone ship, you probably lose the race to Anakin. You probably just lose the race because you're not pushing enough damage, especially if they have main deck DFF or something, or they have some other way to stem the tide. Even if they don't, just by virtue of you hitting things, you're pushing Anakin into threatening range. Now, there's a world where you just die to bravado here anyway. I guess maybe there isn't, because if you attack, well, no, Anakin has initiative, so they get attack, bravado, attack, probably kill you. Because you're at 4, 5, 6, 7. Go to 14, or go to 12. No, they can't kill you with bravado. It's not going to be enough. So we're looking at a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. That's a fell. Yep, that had to happen. Fell has to clear that out. If there was a barrage, I think we would have snap barraged. Big debate about who's going in first. All right, so we're getting in for 2. I think we're just dodging the Anakin play here. But it doesn't matter. You're going to give them another attack with this, no matter what. I'm a little surprised. Like, is it worth killing the token over setting up the kill on the Victor leader? That would have saved you 2 damage. Across, well, 3 damage across, 4 damage. I think you kill the Victor leader. No, it would have been 1, 2, 3. Because it would have been token that you killed, and the hauler. Because you would have attacked with the Victor leader right away, knowing that it would have died. All right, so we get an eager escort. That removes a little bit of the Air Force. We're at 13. I don't think Anakin can get there in time, unless they have a bravado or something. Maybe mitigating another clone squad. But even then, it's better to kill the Victor leader, because it removes +2/+2. Ultimately, it didn't matter. Like, having the no good to me dead is what set this up. Just weren't able to get the damage going. And we're on to game 2. This is a much faster game than that previous nonsense. Pre-Vizsla being a menace. All right, so we've got game 2. Honestly, like I said, if I'm Vader, I would love to sit across from Anakin like every round. As long as you see some no good to me deads, possibly waylays, like the matchup is mostly trivial. Mostly trivial. Nothing's ever going to be 100%, but like it's a very strong lane in your favor. Now, post-board, it can get dicey. Anakin, if they're prepared, of course, could have bombing run. We saw that in the pre-Vizsla matchup. And that can cause, it just like the no good to me dead broke it open for our Vader player, a bombing run can break it open for Anakin, because all of a sudden you have to spend a couple of turns rebuilding. Maybe Anakin comes down as already 6-7 attack, and bad things will happen to you. Daring raid in order to kill the second guy. That's fair. Guess we got a pass from our Anakin player to set that up. There were always going to be 2. I don't know what that life counter thing is, but that seems worse than dice. Because it's like the 3rd time it went rolling across the board. That's a hauler, I assume. Hauler, I presume. It does in fact not die to a buffed up Anakin push from the red 5. Oh, wait, yes it does. What am I saying? Yes, it in fact does. That will hit the appropriate damage total. The question is, okay, so Anakin chooses to play it. I don't know that I love that. All right, we're getting the draw off the other X-Wing. This is a lot of, I guess not a lot of space, but this is one way to get back the hauler. Trade in the token and an eager escort. Get back a 4-5. Seems okay. Unfortunately, the same situation is going to happen because that's another 3-power dude. That's another 3-power dude. Ugh. I was planning on watching some of the other VODs, but I think we're going to save them for another day. I'm tired. All right, so Hauler down once again. I think we're going to see a very similar sequence. Yep. Poe this time, however. We waylay. Get back the Hauler. If you don't have, like, this is a little awkward. I mean, Poe can only, oh no other play that turn. Would have loved, like, a capture ship, a Geonosis, something like that. Hitting multiple space units like that allow you to cleanly remove it is unfortunate, but it's the way it is. So early deploy on Anakin. No good to me dead. Looks like Poe. And this is all looking very familiar right now. And this is, once again, the like appropriate play. Anakin's smaller. Poe is, wait, are we debating this? Okay. I think opponent was just asking to clarify. It's got to be Poe, because otherwise you risk the Vader never being able to do anything. And we can just dirtle forever until the Anakin player actually has to make a real decision and do something. I'm telling you, these tie tokens are sick looking. Anakin's clearly holding something. The only question is what? That's a clone ship. Do we have an answer for the clone ship? It is a fell. No, Rivals fall. All right. Vader's going to go space. No real option, given that Anakin's now 6 attack, and clearly you're going to end up giving up initiative. So we need an answer to Poe this turn, and we got to hope that they don't have a way to eliminate Vader, because otherwise we're not winning this race against Anakin. It's a bunch of 1 attack power ties, a Republic Y-Wing, and that's it. That's a force throw. Looks like we're going to target ourselves, probably. There's no way you target your opponent. They're going to pitch a first order tie, and you're going to scream. Wait, what? Wait, you targeted the... I think they targeted the Vader player. What are you holding that can't be right. I don't know what they're holding, but like that can't be what. Okay, second force throw. Discarding bravado. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 22. So that's 9. Puts you at 14. I guess there's a word, like a bravado here doesn't kill you immediately, but it does risk, like, that would be lethal afterwards. So we got a clone ship. I'm a little surprised the clone ship got played. Well, there's always this debate of like, do I play the clone ship so that if my opponent, yeah, you just claim immediately. Like they do something and you just go, okay, claim because I'm going to hit you for a gazillion. Clone ship for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And like a bombing run doesn't do it. I have no idea what you could possibly, like can you redemption? I don't think they have enough resources. Actually, they might. That's a Resolute. Resolute's not going to do it. GG. Vader takes it down. Kind of how I expected the matchup to go for the most part. There are, like, again, if there's a bombing run, maybe that changes, especially in game 2. But if you... Yeah, like you could have bombing run on 5 and that would have been really awkward. Would have given you breathing room because then you wouldn't have the Poe, but even Anakin just swinging for the fences at that stage might be good enough. And then if you know good to me dead, then the Poe comes down later and that's actually the real problem. Either way, I'm pretty sure that was the finals. I'm pretty sure that was the finals as mentioned. So that's going to do it for this evening. We're going to call it for now. We'll be back tomorrow. We got some Phobies viewer games. I'm pretty sure we do. I'll check the spreadsheet. We'll see if I can get my buy next week. That's going to do it for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.